Hi, welcome everyone. My name is John Sands. I'm with Moraine Valley Community College, and I'm also help run the Center for System Security and Information Assurance, sometimes known as CSSIA, CSSIA. You can go to our website, cssia.org. We're a National Science Foundation National Resource Center. So we do a lot of curriculum development, faculty development, promoting competition, working with employers. There are three major objectives. So we also do a lot of outreach with minority organizations and so on, in building the pool of cybersecurity professionals. So that's a little bit about casting. Today what I was going to talk about is our involvement with the Cyber Aces program. So how many of you have heard of Cyber Aces? Familiar with it? Okay. How many participate? Anyone participate in Cyber Aces? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little overview of it and then talk about what we're doing. There's two colleges in the country that are actually partnering with CAN in Cyber Aces to provide something that we had interest in, and Allen Palos really pushed for, was the idea of taking a collective group of people and putting them through a very fast-paced, high-intensive program for higher-level positions in cybersecurity. So we thought it was sort of interesting. It was something that we had some interest in. Now, we also had interest in working with a lot of our returning veterans. So we sort of merged the two, and we went to the National Science Foundation, and we were able to secure an eager grant to run our camp. And the group in New Jersey, we did it. Okay. So that's how we were able to tie some of these things together. We put a proposal in about a year and a half ago, and our camp is up and running now, and I'll give you some stats and so on what we're doing with the camp itself. But anyhow, the idea behind the Cyber Aces is that Allen Pollard came up with this concept initially of, what if we had some type of open competition out there that we could use as a big net, right? To find people that had the potential and the capabilities of receiving higher end training or ultimately being placed into the cyber workforce. So basically what they did is they came up with this Cyber Aces program. And it really consists of four things. So the first thing it is that they've basically taken several of their courses that they teach through the SANS Institute, and they've made them available free for any student. So when I'm here today, this is my main reason I'm here today, is to let you know about this. So it starts in every September. There's actually 3 courses, and we'll get into some details on this in a little bit. And then there's actually quizzes and exams that students can take to participate in this. Anyone taking the courses? No? I mean, they're really high quality. They're the same courses as SANS teaches. Right? So they're actually the fundamental one, and there's a networking and an operating system course. But they're really high quality courses that can really supplement what you're doing in the classroom, and that's how we're using it. Right? We're actually making them a part of our graded calculations in our classes, in our advanced cyber classes at the community college, and we're making every single student go through these. Right? And one of the things we've been able to do in Illinois is to get the majority of the community colleges across Illinois to participate as well. So we've got about 40 of the 50-some community colleges in Illinois participating. In fact, last year we had the highest state number of participants in the Cyber Aces program. So we've sort of achieved what they're looking for, and that is to get as many students exposed to this so we can sort of have a measuring stick of, okay, what are the real stars, and can we recruit them into a program so that both government agencies and businesses could have access to this really high-level talent, right? So that's what the program basically is about. And you can walk to the website. I'll bring up the website here in a second. But basically, you can have your students register for the courses. It's self-paced. They can go through the courses themselves, and they can take the quizzes as they go along. And then afterwards, they have an exam that they can participate in. And the idea is we have this little funnel that we're going to try to identify as the best of the best, right? So that's a little bit what the program is about. Again, the goal is to help grow the talent pool and accelerate the rate at which skilled cyber professionals can enter the information security industry. And we're trying to push that further in that at some point, the best of the best can get in some type of accelerated programs. I'm a big believer in that, and we're really going to push that from here on out. We're going to have accelerated programs for our participants, whether they're MSF funded or not. And we've had a lot of interest and support from local businesses. And I'll share with you some of the companies that have both volunteered to hire students that complete this program, and have also sponsored some of the events that are associated with it. We basically split them across 2 of our courses. So everyone had taken what would be equivalent to like a Security Plus course, and then they go into a network security course, and that's where we have them take the network security, and then we have a more advanced one that sort of aligns to the remaining domains for the CSSIA or SSCP, and that's where we have to take the other 2 courses. At this point, they've already had operating systems, they've had network fundamentals, so it is later in it's second-year courses that we've aligned with them. Right? You know, and at first we thought, you know, the workload and we've got a lot of complaints in it, and really we have not seen, you know, much at all as far as complaints of students going through this. In fact, most of them feel that the materials are really worth going through and have helped them in preparing for employment. So.
Are these graded or they're
they're graded. Yeah, they're graded. So basically, what we do with these quizzes then. Oh, by the way, you can take these courses with the quizzes or without the quizzes. Right? At the beginning, the idea was everyone had to take the quiz and so on, but they really want schools to start to participate with this, so they made it available both ways. The students don't necessarily have to take the quizzes. However, by taking the quizzes, they are eligible to, in our case, participate in a state final. So we took the top 125 scores, and we invited them to a weekend event where they basically competed in a full-day competition at the school, and we awarded prizes to the winners, and we had sponsors there, and so on. And then basically we took the top 12 people. Now, it wasn't just based on scores. Okay, so we based it on scores and other criteria, because in some cases we had professors that made it into the top 25 that they want to participate. They don't. Anyone can participate, and we also had. People that are already working in the field. So the program really wasn't necessarily intended for those people. So what we basically did, we took the top 25. From there, we took about the top 40, and we interviewed all of the top 40 participants. In our case, we were specifically targeting veterans. So we ended up with 12 veterans, 1 non-veteran in our camp. And what they were invited to then is a week of free training. The top 40 were invited to a week of free training offered by SAM, and then the top 12, or 13 actually, in our case, we're actually providing 1 year of really intensive training with their certifications paid for, and ultimately if they complete all 7 certifications, they're guaranteed a job with one of our local Fortune 50 companies that they call them. No. Okay, and I'll get into that in a second. Now, originally this was all based on SAM's curriculum. So what we wanted to do, we went back and said, what if we took the same group, and we talked to SAM's with this as well. We said, what if we took some of the curriculum that we've developed through the National Science Foundation, and we took some of the SAM's curriculum, and we sort of built a hybrid program. And that's what our students are going to do. So to give you an idea, our students, it's a year program, and we send them through Security Plus as the first certification that they did. We already had, out of 13, 3 already had the certification. By the way, 8 of the 13 already have security clearances. They're all veterans. So 8 of 13 already had security clearances. And most of them, we have companies already that want them. Then we brought them through CSENT, Cisco CSENT, and Cisco sponsored them and gave them basically test vouchers to take the CSENT exam, and then to take the CCNA security exam. So there were 2 Cisco certifications that were associated with this as well. And then from there, we're going to do the CAST certification, which is the advanced certification with CompTIA. I'm doing a session about that, and I can share some of the materials that we're using for that at 3:30. Okay. And CSSIA donated all the vouchers from to take the CSSIA exam. And then the last three are the SANS courses. All right, and I'll get into some specifics with them, but they basically are going through the entire SANS 403 curriculum, 3 courses, and then they have the option of 1 specialization course. And we're also picking up the cost for them to take the certificate exams. So when they leave, they have the ability to have 7 exams completed. Right? And I can tell you right now, we started ours in late September, and we're at the point now we're on the 3rd certification. We have not lost a participant, and we've really sort of learned from this group, because I can tell you early on we had some hesitation that our students really going to get a hand of this. Right? We made them into a group cohort that can help each other, prepare for the exam. We meet every week. We meet once a month in person. We meet every week virtually, that they're required, they have to agree to commit to. We also do things like tours of some of the facilities in the Chicago area. We've had guest speakers come in and talk to the group, so on. But we still have all 13 participants. All but 2 have completed their first 3 exams. Right? The first exam, everyone passed it the first time. Second exam, 2 people had to take it twice, but everyone passed it the first time. And in CSSIA security, almost all of them passed it the first time. A couple of them will be sitting through the exam this week. I was hoping to have a group you could actually talk to get sort of their feedback of the program, but we couldn't pull that off just close to the break. Yeah. We paid through them through an EAGER grant through the National Science Foundation. So we put in for a grant about a year and a half ago, and we sat down with SANS, and they agreed to give us 50% off on all the courses, and we also received 50% off on the exam vouchers itself. And one of the benefits for us is that they also agreed to allow our 2 lead faculty members to sit through them as well. So that was a big benefit for us, is that the faculty members are going to sit through that and also sit through the certification exam. So that's really good about what we're doing with that. Okay. So these are the modules themselves. So the first one's on operating systems. Introduces students to computer operating systems. The displaying emphasis on command line usage. The first half focuses on Linux. Guiding students through use of CentOS and activities in VMware Player. We also use one of the things that we modified from the original model was that we run our own NetLabs environment, our own virtual environment, and we basically do students access to the virtual environment to go through the prep for it. And so it's a little bit different than the first group in the original SANS version of it. Right? And the second one is in networking. I don't know how many of you have taken some of the SANS courses, but they get really nitty-gritty into the analysis of protocols, which we've probably exposed our students more to the technologies and operations of things, and I think this really supplemented what we do in the classroom. So it got much more into protocol analysis and some of the tools and so on in analyzing protocols. Yeah. The courses are deceivingly more difficult than what you think.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
You think that
so our prerequisite, all of our students had to go through would be equivalent to A+. So they have familiarization with hardware and software. We had to have a basic operating system course. So our basic operating system course. And then they've had at least like a Network Plus equivalent. So that was what we required. Right? But anyhow, this is the second module. They sort of aligned beautifully with what we had out there anyhow for our curriculum. So when we got into network security, this was actually a good supplement for us. And then the third one was on network administration. the module will examine PHP and Perl in context, so they get into much more than just user administration and so on. There's a lot of scripting in it, batch filing, we get into Microsoft PowerShell scripting, so on. So that's what that course basically is. What we're going to end up doing now, in fact, we're almost done with it, and I'll be probably presenting this later in the year, but we're actually creating a course that's sort of similar to this. I can't say we're not copying directly from SANS, but we are making a course that we think fits this requirement. And I think this really works well. How many of you are looking at CA2I designation? Yeah. Like, do you apply?
No, we got it.
Oh, you got it? Good. All right. But this is one of the requirements, right, that wasn't previously out there for CA2I, right? It was for the 4 years, but it wasn't there for the 2 years still. So, so this course really helped us in addressing that, and again, it gave us the emphasis. Oh, sorry, I missed that. But it gave us motivation to actually complete this course, and we'll have. We actually built an entire course out with this in our NetLab environment. So we primarily dealt with Perl, a little bit of PHP, and much more in PowerShell and Bash scripting. So, and that'll be coming out. We actually had a group from Madison, Wisconsin help with that, and a couple other people. All right. So, you know, again, the idea, again, is to put this net out there and try to find the talent for it, right? So the program starts every September. Top performers, you can see on Cyber Aces Online, can earn an invitation to test their skills against other top cyber talent in state competitions and then a national competition. So we hosted the state competition in Illinois last March. We had 120 some participants show up for it, and it was a on-campus, one-day event. And we actually had really good press on it. And you know, in Illinois, we actually had the Governor's Commission on Cyber Security. All 4 of the members of that commission were there to support the event. So it was a good deal for us. Competition's free. It's online, so you can actually do it virtual. You don't have to have an in-person competition. We wanted to do that really to get the timing worked out well because there were a couple of big data breaches that week. So we had 2 of the local TV stations out there interviewing people and students and so on and talking about the breaches that had just occurred that week and what they were doing to try to address the threat. Right. The competitions were scheduled pending on participants' rates and interest. In our case, we even picked up the cost of travel and hotel for ones that were coming from downstate or whatever. So, all right. And the first round of competition this year will start in December, and our second round again will either be March or April. So that's basically the time frame. For the competition. To host one? You probably just need to get involved with the group itself. I can get you some contact information. I think there's 7 around the country. I think there's 7 different. The Cyber Aces, Governor's Cup. Because a lot of states have combined. They're doing, right? Yes. Yeah, but, well, it is sort of confusing with all the competitions because they also have the CCD, the U.S. Cyber Challenge that they run as well, right? But to get involved in hosting one, I could probably put you in touch with someone and see if they need someone in your region to host one. I can tell you they're trying to lean more on doing them virtual, unless they have a lot of support at the state level that'll pick up things like travel costs and stuff like that. And they have an institution that wants to actually host it because we basically volunteered the stage, and there was really no cost on it. But David Brown's group, I think, get you the contact information. All right. So the Cyber Aces basically lead to this idea of academies. Right now, there are 2 institutions running the academy. So we're one of them, and there's one in New Jersey. Right? The academies typically are anywhere from 9 months to a year, and it's really up to us to get the funding for this. So there is no funding out there to do this. So that's one of the reasons we went to NSF for the year grant with this. And I think we were able to get one through the National Science Foundation because we came up with a twist of how we could better leverage resources that had already been invested from NSF. So, as an example, instead of going all SAMs like the group at Brooksville did in New Jersey, basically we took our own homegrown curriculum and we mixed it with the SAMs, upper tier. One in New Jersey basically did all SAMs curriculum throughout the entire and basically consists of a series of courses and hands-on labs. They're typically going to be hosted at a community college. So again, two colleges participated in the camp at this point. The enrollment basically is online, and I'll show you the website for it. Here is the website. So if you just go to cyberaces.org, this is the information. This is where students can actually find out information about the competition itself and actually register. Even if you're not going to involve at a camp level or at a state competition, I think it's a good thing you can do in the system. That's really what they want us to get out there. If you want to go further with this, they have tried to have each state have a lead center. They're calling them cyber centers, and they've done a good job of reaching out to the governors to try to get support for some of these things. So, I know at our institution they sort of leaned on us, but they thought this was a good thing for us to get involved with and made resources available for us to host it. So, you can do it by committing to the quizzes or not. It's not like it was in the past. Everyone can decide if they want to take the quizzes or not. This is sort of a time frame of when the different rounds of competition work. So from September to December, you can basically run through the courses and take the quizzes. And then they have the online competition that's scheduled in late December. And then the second round is the in-person round of state championships or the regional championships are typically in March or April. Okay. All right.
So the March in June, do you stuff that?
Mm-hmm.
That's for the open quizzes?
No, that is for the final round for the championship. Yeah.
So you do have to start.
Yeah, so you need to start. Well, between September and December. I would start earlier. These courses are pretty intense, more intense than we expected initially when we had our typical students go through them. But I would start late September would be where I would plan on infusing them into the courses. Yeah.
So if you want to pause the class, you can basically get access to the courses for free and review them and just not inside the quizzes. You can see what the So what would you recommend?
Okay.
So one thing, and that's
there's been discussion about making these available to faculty and so on year round, and going sort of through where they fit, how to get students involved, and so on. They really want to have a continuous pool of students taking this every year. So, if you're interested in previewing it, you can probably get your access to that. Of course. We meet on a quarterly basis, but I'll give you my information in the chat here, and I can get some information on who is talking. David Brown typically runs this, so he's the person that we just everything to. Yeah.
Did you ever
I did not. Typically, they're looking, again, for college-level students, but we have had high school students participate in the program. We don't have any high schools themselves participating, but we've had some, the students can do this without being, it doesn't have to be formal within the school itself. So we had several high school students that participated in this in Illinois. And we actually interviewed some of them actually scored high enough. They were in that top 40 that we interviewed them to be part of the cohort. And I can tell you both in our case and then in the case of New Jersey, we didn't have any high school students qualified for the camp itself. Right? But they are eligible. There are some issues with if they go through the camp, we try to guarantee them employment. So it's tough against the high school student full-time employment. That's part of it. And we had a very, very talented high school student in ours. In fact, Brookfield actually had a high school student that they invited to participate in their issues, legal issues with them in the placement. So I guess there's some problems with parents complaining about it afterwards and so on. But the camp-wise, we really have limited it pretty much to we are heavily male force. In the top 40, we had 4 females placed in the top 40. None of them made the camp. None of them we're hoping to change our program and program. They're shooting to have 7. They'd like to have 7 camps ultimately. But the point is they're looking for the 2 sources. They're looking for corporate sponsorship on it. And we get really good sponsorship. And just last time through, United Airlines sponsored the camp in Chicago, and we also had Boeing donate to the camp, Exelon, a power company. So, and the one thing I have to say, Sam's has done a really good job of helping us connect to the right people for sponsorships, because we did not necessarily have the right people in the past. Even running the center and so on, we didn't have access to some of the people that they brought to the table. Right? And I can also tell you that go and Google Cyber Aces at Moraine Valley Community College and see how many websites pick it up. We did a great. I mean, I think we do a pretty decent job at CSSIA promoting the events that we're involved in. But they really got a machine behind it. I was just shocked at how many sites picked it up. What's that? Oh, I'm telling you, I was amazed, because a week later, I mean, we had 2 local TV stations there, and then we probably were on 15, 20 websites. So I was really amazed at the coverage we got. No. In the high school issue, we're still trying to work that out, because I really don't want to discourage high school students from participating. We thought about inviting the one high school student ours that really sort of qualified to participate and maybe connect them with the university that they go on to or whatever. But the first year we just didn't want to take that on with learning everything else. Okay. Okay. I'll tell you the one thing I'm pretty happy about is that out of the 13, I'm really looking at 4 of them. I'm going to ask to come back as adjunct faculty members, because some of these people are really sharp, have already worked in IT. Some had some security background. They weren't necessarily security professionals, but they had some background. But we had some really talented programmers, some people that were talented in network administration and so on. So I think it's been a good recruiting for adjunct faculty as well, and that's one of the things that I'm going to pursue out of the good return we have. So, and then the other thing we did in our camp, which is a little bit different than what happened in New Jersey, is that every participant has to provide some type of community service. So whether that's going to be serving as a coach for Cyber Patriots, we're trying to bring on Cyber Patriots teams in the area. In fact, we have one of our participants already coaches, and he can help some of the other ones coach some of the high schools that want to participate in that competition. And then other ones will serve as potentially red team members or gold team members in our CCDC, or possibly just for our local, we have a local high school competition that we're going to do in. But it was something that they had to agree to, and part of getting the free training and the services and a job ultimately at the end of this. So.
Are you looking for a Cyber Aces
I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I would say they are. Right now, their biggest challenge is funding it, because it's a year-long program. It's probably, in our case, we asked for about a $250,000 grant, and 60% of it's going towards certifications and the coursework for the participants. And then the rest of it's going into direct costs. We have two faculty members that actually run this at our institution. And then some of the logistics that we have to do as part of this. So that's the biggest issue. Is it probably costs around $150,000 to do this at their discounted rates. And by the way, that doesn't include CSSIA donating all the vouchers for 13 and for 2 exams. This role is donating 26 vouchers as well. So on. And then we actually pay exams for their vouchers and their course materials. We raise money for the state event. So actually, the money we raised for the state event covered the state event, and it also covered like we have them come in once a month, and we're using that money to pick up their mileage and their housing when they come in over the weekend. They come in one weekend a month, and then they're online every Saturday for 4 hours with our instructors. And I find out we really thought we were going to do just true instruction for the whole program, and then for the first half, and then the SANS instructors would come in and do instruction for the second half. And really, that's not the case. The students are at a level that they're working together, and we're basically sharing materials with them. We're asking what kind of things do you want instruction on, what kind of labs can we provide to you. So we're really facilitating this more than teaching. I think both of our instructors are very pleased at the level of participation. And we really made them work as a cohort. And I think we'll see all of them pass the exams that we are going to require by the end of February, and then we hand them over to SANS for the second half. And I think SANS details after that. These are some of the logistics on the academy itself. This is what we're making them commit to. So basically, again, the concept was included as a pre-recommendation of the Department of Homeland Security Advisory Council on Cybersecurity, which Alan was involved with. So one of the things that the idea was to do this, quick-paced training and get people through the training and into the workforce as fast as possible. And I can tell you, this would not have worked with our typical students. I've taught both groups now, and this group they're going through materials 3-4 times faster than our typical students. The workload, we estimated 25 to 40 hours a week. We probably overestimated that with the talent that we have involved in the camp itself. I would say most of them are probably putting in 12 to 20 hours a week. But we're basically having to commit to 20 to 40 hours a week. Duration, ours, originally they talked about a 12 to 18 month duration. Our training is 12 months, and then we're giving ourselves 6 months to place the participants. I can tell you we've already got 3 companies. Each one of them has committed to a couple of these participants. And one of these we've done is invite companies to come in and be involved in events that we're doing. So we'll have challenges with them. We'll have them doing design projects, presentations, and so on. We've invited members of our advisory committee and local business participants to come in and meet the group, and they have been extremely impressed. In fact, in some cases, they want to hire them on the spot. We have to hold that, sort of protected against losing these participants before they complete the program. And a lot of this, you can really determine state by state on how to do this. That's a requirement. If they don't complete the program, we don't guarantee them employment. So we're requiring that they all complete all phases of the program. And I can tell you, New Jersey's group has already completed, their first group has already completed, and 10 of the 12 have already completed all of the certifications. It's sort of amazing if you bring a group of really talented people together and have them work together, what they can achieve. So our instructors have been very pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to work with this group. We thought the task was we'd never get all these people through all these certifications. We were already a month ahead of where we wanted to be with the certs. So, the SAM component of it, they have, it really goes towards their certification model. So one of the things that we offered our students, they have 3 different specialization tracks that they can take. So we had to take 2 of the fundamental courses, and they could pick one of the courses in the specialization, like forensic, network, penetration testing. Actually 4 now. We had like 4. So there's 4 areas of specialization that they can pick from. I'm not sure how that's going to work, though, because as this starts to scale, it's one instructor that can right now basically doing most of the instruction with our students. So I don't know if it's going to scale out to be all 4 specializations. We sort of encourage most of our students to go into one or 2 specializations. Yeah, these are specializations. So advanced forensics, pen testing, hardware. The hardware is really an interesting one because they even get into the point of like reverse engineering. It's a pretty interesting course. I mean, I just glanced through it. It seems rather challenging course. But adding the SCADA industrial controls component, that is not available as of yet for this program, but we may do that in our next group that goes through next year. We're bringing up a SCADA net lab. So this year, one of our goals was to complete this. It's up and running right now. We're writing labs for it. So we're hoping to talk to them using our labs in their course. So that's and then perimeter defense, those will be okay, and industrial controls will be next year. And then the job placement, he's referring, David Brown and Alan Powers basically wanted to see this like a medical residency process, right? So we are literally calling these residents. So when the students are placed, they're full-time jobs, they're paid, and the idea is they would be working side by side with experts in the field, in the corporate environment, or government agency, or whoever it is that they work with. That's one thing I should mention to you. 4 of our participants already have either undergraduate or graduate degrees. The other 9 are working on their research. No, there's no linkage. Of course, we try to make that linkage. Most of them had at least started an associate's degree. It's one of the things that I found really interesting in this program is that quite a few of our participants are from other community colleges that have cyber programs. So we're working with them on how we can better infuse some of these things into our program. Ideally, what we'd really like to do is take this content and put it into our programs. One of the things that I made as an argument when we first put in for this is that the entry-level courses, we're already doing those things. So we didn't really need to pay the high dollar SAM courses or certifications. So we already had those things in our courses. Some of the other ones we didn't have. I mean, I have to be honest, we didn't have some of the things that were in some of these other courses, or at least at the level that they did. So it's letting us know there may be, a point where some of these things can be incorporated in our programs. Other things you'll probably leave for more specialized training that we're seeing for them. All right. And this is sort of the theory of this is that we're going to measure their central knowledge and development through the mass participation in this online competition. Then we have the Governor's Cup and the final round online net wars is what they refer to it as. Yeah. It's it's a virtual environment just like everyone else is using. I don't think it's that much different than we're doing in the other, in the other competitions. I think it's sort of interesting the way they do it. They bring basically the way we run ours. We have a huge auditorium that we put in. We had 120 students there participating live, and you can literally watch the scores that we were competing today and see the bigger finals and who won the competition. No, they're getting them from a set of virtuals. Yeah, they're each have their own. Yeah, there's no offense in this yet. They're talking about one thing. I mean, part of his description, part of Alan's description, is he wants to create the hunters, right? Well, to create the hunters, you got to have the offensive side of it, right? So the idea is they want to get into that side of it. So I can tell you right now, and again, ultimately, they two rounds. And then this is New Jersey curriculum. So they basically, as you can see, they basically use SANS curriculum with entry-level courses from SANS to present. So they have pure configurations, a pen testing course, and then advanced forensics. I was hoping to have Mike here to talk a little bit about this. This is a little bit different than ours. And they actually use some of their college courses with the SANS material in teaching, their elements. So, yeah.
So the next one is what we do as a fall program. So after that, we take the courses to do more competitions?
No. Well, once they're in the camp, we're not. I mean, I'd like to recruit some for our CCD team or there's no requirement for the competitions. So, like I said, most of ours, though, will be coaches or play some role in some of the local competitions that we're running. But there's no requirement that we do that. And then this is some of the material that New Jersey uses in promoting their program. So it's really focused on hands-on skills. The whole thing is really focused on hands-on skills. Each course is 35 to 50% hands-on labs, plus supplemental labs on the weekends. And then the idea is that they're going to further validate this in the form of a residency working side by side with an expert in the field. And one of the lab environments they use there is they have a simulated little city that they're incorporating things like SCADA and traffic control and things like that. So it's one of the things that we're working on. Let's go to the college up there. And I'm hoping that Mike's here, but here's Mike. He's spoke here before, hasn't he? You guys might here before, hasn't he? And then these are their participants. I believe so. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really haven't been out there for their group. But that's their group. And Mike and I gave a presentation at CSSIA this year. Here's Illinois. So in Illinois, we reached out to each of the community colleges across the state. We got 40 to participate, which we were really happy with. We have 40 community colleges across Illinois that have something in cyber. They could have a degree, they could have a certificate, or they could just have a series of courses or elements built into their program that do it. And that's how we canvassed who was going to participate. And we got 40 schools. We had 380 participants last year. So, again, of all the Cyber Aces competitions, Illinois had the top number of participants. So, and then these are the ones in the Chicago area. Again, and ours is a little bit different in that we really specifically tried to address veterans. We used quite a bit of the curriculum that we had already developed through the National Science Foundation Center. We meet weekly with our group, and basically the way our group meets is that they meet every Saturday from 9 till 1 with our instructors, and they meet every Wednesday night with their cohorts. And we broke the group up into 4 cohorts, and we give them different projects and so on that they work on as they went through the coursework. We give them access to our virtual lab 24/7. We give them all different pod configurations, so they're getting access to our security pods and also our virtualization courses. And then we've had multiple sponsors helping us with this project. So we have one of the instructors is the engineer for Argonne National Labs, works with the Nathan Evans, and Nathan's been around quite a while in the cyber area. He helped us with the program. Dell SecureWorks and Archon have been big supporters of this. In fact, Dell SecureWorks and Archon both have been have stepped up in residence. And then CompTIA. Oh, no, I forgot. We're doing a Linux certification with this as well. So we're doing the Advanced Linux Professional Institute certifications as part of this as well. And then Cisco Systems, we're doing CSense and CSAN Security. And of course, NSF is completing the CA easy grant. Let's see if I have it in there. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, I may have it in there. But this is a little bit about the eager grant. Anybody's familiar with that? You've been to your grant, right? Share any experience with that? Yeah, that's the whole idea behind this grant. It's a high risk, high reward. If you got a great idea that you think will work, and I can tell you right now, this is one of the things Victor and I talked about 3 years ago about this, because I wanted to come up with a model that, could we come up with some kind of model we could put students through a really accelerated program and get them into the workforce as soon as possible. They're really interested in any ideas like that. So if you have an idea where you can take a talented group of people and put them through an accelerated program, I think he's willing to listen to all proposals. Very simple process, wasn't it? Compared to a normal ATE grant, the year grant was very, very simple application process. Right? The only thing is it's limited. Is it 250,000 to get some of it in? Or 300,000 some of it. So you, that's the limitation. It's not going to be as big as some of the grants. All right? I can give it to you afterwards, but I can pull it up and show you which actual course is in. Any questions on program? Yeah.
I noticed that you go to
Yes. Yeah, you have to register to participate. Yeah, take the quizzes and actually participate in the competition.
That's how the quizzes have always been.
Yes. Yeah, they can. December 5th, I think, was the last day. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want an idea of what's in the content itself, you can look through it and see. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Some of it's more advanced it's more advanced than we taught in some of our courses. I can just say that. So some of the things in the network course and the operating systems course were above and beyond what we taught in some of ours. We've incorporated them now after seeing some of the things that they went on. Again, some of the advantages of participating with this, it brought some recognition to the program. It allowed us to get our faculty members to go through some of the advanced SANS training and to get the advanced SANS certifications. I think it's been really good as far as building a better partnership with our local businesses. SANS has got a great outreach, and even in our own backyard, we've brought connections that we hadn't had in the past. That was a big advantage for us. And then the other thing I think is, in our case, I thought we really want to service and reaching out to veterans in the area and helping to get back into the profession as the workforce now. community. All right. Any other? All right, so that's the program, and again, they're interested in growing it. So if you want to participate next year, I think it's worthwhile, and I think the students get something out of it.